So over the last few days, F1 Predicts have come out with 10 new questions, mid-season predictions coming into the second half of the season after the summer break, asking all of us what will happen in that final part of the season. Now that we have all of the first-hand stats and results from the first parts. So hey, let's go through them all and I'll give you my mid-season predictions for F1. And make sure if you want to get involved with these F1 predictions, head over to F1 Predicts on the fantasy tabs for the F1 page and you'll be able to find it over there. And if you want a league to join, you can join the Zach GP1 there as well. And well, coming into the first question, well, let's skip past that just for now and head over to that for the final question, because this one is real juicy. So heading into question 2, and well, this instantly gets quite juicy. Now, I'm going to stick with my guns here. I made a video about George Russell and Mercedes as a whole after the Spanish Grand Prix. And what I said in it was that Mercedes would still come second place in the Constructors' Championship. And I'm going to stick with my guns here. Now, I'm actually surprised Mercedes is 10 points compared to Ferrari, considering Ferrari still have like a 24-point gap to Mercedes. So I thought Ferrari would be the lower choiced points option. I would have gone for Mercedes, but it's a little bit annoying because if I wasn't sticking with my guns, I would have very much gone Ferrari right now. But I still think George Russell, in the form of his life, I just don't think there's anything in it for Ferrari at the minute. If Mercedes come back, they're going to come back strong. So for me, it's a risky one straight away, but Mercedes for me, it's going to be close, have got it covered. Then into question 3, who will end up with the most pole positions? And it's another quite controversial one because at the start of the season, if I had said I would put Lando Norris as this person, you'd think I was crazy. However, now, Max Verstappen, of course, he's had quite a few pole positions, but let's get real. I'd be very, very surprised if Red Bull could keep up the pace. I don't think he's going to be getting any more anytime soon. He might get 1 or 2 for the next part of the season, but it won't be enough to put him top. And again with Piastri, I think Norris has now leveled up his qualifying form again and he's been not too bad. I think Lando Norris has got this one, and again at 15 points, I like that. Heading into question 4, it's another one with quite an interesting dilemma because instantly your mind would go to, oh well, it's got to be Nico Hülkenberg, right? He's got the most points, he's probably going to be doing better in the Sauber over the season, and probably yes. But actually, on the qualifying head-to-head, he's losing to Bortoleto, so I do actually think Bortoleto will be able to continue this brilliant qualifying form he's had. And I'm hoping, because also that would be brilliant to see Bortoleto already shining this season. And like Fernando Alonso said, keep an eye on Bortoleto. He's definitely one rookie to keep an eye on, and he's proving it so far this season. And I do think he'll run away with, well, maybe not run away with it, but qualifying-wise, he's definitely going to put up a fight to Hülkenberg, so I want to back my boy Gabby Bortoleto. Then, I think this is the first easy question, question 5, and it's to do with the Williams pairing, and it's who wins the qualifying head-to-head again. I'm surprised this is all qualifying. There's no real race head-to-heads in these questions so far, which is a little bit interesting from them, but oh well. Again, it's Albon versus Sainz. I think it's a clear one here. Albon has been just so much more comfortable in that Williams, especially in qualifying as well. I think Albon's got this in the bag. Which team will set the fastest pit stop? And well, for me, it's got to be McLaren. And there's one real reason for this. By the way, 18 points is incredible. I'm surprised that Ferrari were the top choice. I know Ferrari have been getting consistently the best pit stops throughout like the weekends. But in Hungary, McLaren set a 1.94 pit stop. And realistically, we're going to have to see something sensational. Some would say world class to get another team beating a time like that. So I think McLaren's Hungary time will probably be the best of the season. So for me, comfortably, I'm very much backing the McLaren boys to bring home the points for me here. It is close though, because I could see Ferrari having another good pit stop, but it just looks like that Hungary one especially is going to be very hard to beat. Which driver finishes the season higher? And well, this one, you've got 2 that it's pretty close with. I think Pierre Gasly, it's safe to say, wasn't even on my mind on this question, and there's a reason he was 20 points. But Ocon on Hadjar 22 points to Ocon's 27. And that's the reason I've gone Ocon. I think in the Racing Bulls compared to Haas, because it's been so flip-flop this season with which one has been better, I think that 5-point buffer should be enough to keep Ocon ahead of Hadjar. Even though I do think Hadjar will have more races probably better than Ocon the next part of the season. I think Hadjar will probably get like a P8, P9, P10. And then you got Ocon who will get a couple of those as well. Maybe have a standout drive somewhere. But at the end of the day, I think those 5 points are enough of a buffer to think that Ocon's got this in the bag for now. Then heading into question 8, who will win the fastest lap award this year? Gone for Oscar Piastri. And now, I think it's a little bit interesting because Mercedes have actually got the last 2 in Spa and Hungary. And that's because, obviously, Russell pitted the latest of the bunch of the top dogs in Hungary. And then Kimi Antonelli, he was on a completely different strategy at the back of the field in Spa. So that's why he got it there. But all in all, what I've seen is even when Lando Norris wins races, this last few races, Oscar Piastri has looked better on the fastest laps. So for me, Oscar Piastri coming into the second half of the season, he might not actually win it. He might not get the race win, but even still, it looks like he's fast enough to get these fastest laps. Then finally, heading into question 9, you finally see my 2 times being activated on these 10 questions. And there's a reason for this. I think this is the most easy question out of the bunch, bar the Williams one. Actually, no, even the Williams one was harder than this one. But where does Lewis Hamilton finish in the Drivers' Championship? He has such a buffer between P7 Kimi Antonelli and P5 of Charles Leclerc that it's going to be P6. And I think it's just a no-brainer to put the 2 times on here. Even though you're only getting 2 times 10, it's such a safe option for me. There's no reason to go something else. I mean, just look at this. I mean, you could go top 3 for 50 points, but it's not happening. And then you've even got third itself. I mean, that's less than, that's being in the top 2. Realistically, that should be about 200 points because it's not happening. I mean, even third's not happening. So I'm very happy to sit with 6th. I think everyone's going to put 6th for this question. And then finally, before the question 1 reveal, which is obviously who will win the championship, basically, will the Drivers' Championship go to the final race decider? A little bit of bias here, but I'm going for yes. If Norris and Piastri continue with their reliability, first of all, because the McLaren's been absolutely beautiful on that reliability. They haven't had many DNFs. If they continue 1-2s, they're never really going to get enough of a gap for it to go over 25 points. And then it will be the case of, even if it's scummy, where it's like Piastri's ahead by 20 points, and realistically he's going to win it, unless Norris wins and he comes like P8, then I still think it's going to come down to that. A little bit of bias also because I want that to happen. But now heading over to question 1, as you can see, it's not filled out right now. But in third place, I have gone with George Russell. Whoa, don't put him there. Jeez Louise, I guess I'm showing my P1 first. In P1, I've gone for Lando Norris. I know it's definitely biased here. 100% bias. But it's literally a 50-50 coin toss at the minute for Norris and Piastri. If I want Norris to win the championship, even only if it's a sliver above Piastri, I've got to back him. I 100%. So Norris P1, Piastri P2, and George Russell P3. It's going to be so close. And again, what does that also mean? I think Russell's going to overtake Verstappen. I can't see that Red Bull holding on for much longer, so expect to see George Russell in P3 and expect to see Mercedes, the constructor, who beats Ferrari because of that. I think Kimi Antonelli will finally get out of this rut that he's been in, close the gap a little bit to Lewis Hamilton, and that gap between Leclerc and Russell I think will be enough to clinch it for the Mercedes team in second in the constructors. But anyway, those are my F1 predictions heading into the second part of the season. I'm actually really happy they did something like this, because I wanted to do a mid-season predictions, and I love it when it's in this sort of style because it makes it so much nicer to record, and also because all of you can do these questions as well. So comment down below, what did you put for all of these questions, or the big ones like question 1, that's the big dog one, or even question 2. I think number 1 and number 2 are the most like important questions of the bunch. So tell me all of them, but tell me especially first and second in the comments. And hey, I hope you enjoyed this style of video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Again, if you want to join a league for F1 Predicts, head over to Leagues and then head over to the Zach GP League. I'm going to share the league right now. That's not sharing the league. I'll share the league now, the Zach GP League. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care, everyone.